starting in Aurora. Okay, I'm going to be talking about quite a few things. I'm going to talk from the 5 animal freedoms all the way down to record keeping. No. Okay. So what are the 5 animal freedoms? The 5 animal freedoms are the standard practice and care that you give your animals. If you do not give your animals these, this will be animal cruelty. You must think of these as the animal rights. Okay? So, let's go over some history. Where did rabbit farming start? Well, it started after World War II in New Zealand and the United States of America. There was not a lot of meat available, so they had to find some kind of protein source. Okay. Then it moved all the way to South Africa, and the first lady who started rabbit breeding and rabbit farming was in Johannesburg, and her name was Marion Keller. In 1969, she even wrote a book about this. Okay. So these are some definitions that will come up throughout the presentation, as well as you will learn it when you are doing your practicals with the rabbits. So, does anyone know why we would farm rabbits? Okay. Yes, JJ? Rabbit is good meat. Okay, yes, that's one of the very important parts. Carlo?
Teacher, and it can make, sometimes can make a lot of profit.
Can make a lot of profit. Okay, so there's many reasons. There's only 2. So our first reason is there's a lot of useful parts of the rabbit. We can have the meat, which gives us a lot of protein. We can use the skin and the fur to make pelts. We can also make blankets and things for the hospital. So it is hypoallergenic, so you can't be allergic to it. We can also make compost from the manure, from their droppings, as well as, did you know that the urine can even make perfume? So sometimes, girls, when you spray yourself, you will know that you are actually using some kind of rabbit urine. Okay. So there's many parts. So nothing goes to waste with rabbits. We can minimize the waste from our kitchen and our gardens, and we can provide that as food, as well as what Gabo says, it is prolific, meaning it can have a lot of babies over a very short amount of time, which gives us more money. Okay. So how would we handle a rabbit? Well, there's a specific way. Grade 7s and 6s, you are learning about this. We have to talk to them. Of course I talk to my rabbit. Why wouldn't you? Talk to them nicely. Talk to them gently and softly, just like you would a friend. When you handle a rabbit, you must be firm and confident. They know when you are scared. When you pick up a rabbit, you take your strong hand, which is most of your right hands. If you are left-handed, it's your left hand. You take it by the scruff, which is the skin behind the ears, and pick it up quickly. You put your other hand underneath for support. When we carry a rabbit, we have them here now. We pick them up. We take the rabbit and put it over our other hand with their head underneath our elbow. So it's like carrying a baby. They feel safe. Remember, the more you carry and the more you handle your animals, the more confident you will become, and the more trusting the rabbits will be to you. Okay. So why and how would we actually start farming them? We would need a house for them. Okay, and these are used for all of the things that will give us the animal freedoms. Okay. So So firstly, we want a cover from the weather. Rabbits do not do well if they are hot, and they do not do well if they get wet and cold. They can die very easily. We need a strong cage so no predators can get in and eat our rabbits up. As well as we can see that it's nice and open so they can breathe and they can see their rabbits next to each other so they can interact. We need a lot of space. In a cage, the rabbit should be able to stand up on its hind legs or lie down like it's on the couch. And it must be able to hop and move around like normal. We also need a resting pad. This is kind of like your couch or your bed at home. It's nice and soft and better than everywhere else. And you feel more relaxed when you're there. We need feeding containers. We need one for pellets and one for hay. They are also off the ground, so they stay clean and hygienic. We need a water supply. They must always get water, because if your rabbit doesn't have water, it can only go 3 days without water and then it dies. Okay, so what other equipment would we need? We would need bins for food. We must make sure we label this food so we don't get confused with it being our rubbish bin. It also must have a good lid so we don't have rats or cats or pests going inside. We must have a first aid kit for minimal and minor diseases and injuries. So we'll need our purple spray or our vinegar or our ivermectin in our first aid box for our rabbits. We need the cleaning supplies to make sure that we clean up our farm and clean the cages when we are swapping rabbits. We need the transport boxes so they are safely transported to each place as they go, from the breeding to the weaners or from the weaners to the slaughterhouse. Okay. And then finally we need nesting boxes. This will make the mother and the babies safe and protected. So, how do we feed? We must feed twice a day at the same time every day. I know we are only feeding once a day, but we should actually feed half in the morning and half in the afternoon. Rabbits like routine. If you go there at 5 o'clock every single day throughout the year, even on Christmas, you should go there at 5 o'clock. Okay, this makes them feel a lot trusting and a lot safer. We must make sure that we clean the bowls out every day. Okay? Just like our little doggy is doing here. Okay? Because you don't want to eat old food, your rabbits don't want to eat old food. So you clean out their bowls and then you can put the new food in. There are specially made pellets for rabbits that has all their nutrients in it. We can also give greens, such as the ones from our garden or the ones from our kitchen, as a treat. So it's like their sweets. We must also always give hay and water, as much as they want, because that will make their stomachs work properly. There's also poisonous things that we can't feed to our rabbits. Joy, cover your nose. Okay? These things we cannot give it to them. Just like if it's poisonous, your mom won't feed it to you, because you will die. Good. So we can see potato, tomato, rhubarb, pumpkin, squash, melon. All the vegetables you guys don't like. Correct? Okay. So let's talk about the breeding. So the breeding is one of the most important parts of our rabbit farming. When we breed, it leads to productivity, which leads to profit. We farm because we want to get the money in from our products. The more healthy rabbits we have, the more products we will have, the more we can sell, and the more money we can make. Okay? So, before we breed, we must make sure that our doe, which is the female rabbit, the mommy rabbit, okay? We must make sure she has enough nipples. The more nipples she has, the more babies she can feed. We must also look at her reproductive part, her reproductive organ. Okay? It must show us the correct color, because if it's not purple, she can't be mated. Okay? Then we put her with the male, or the buck. That's what we call the male rabbit. He knows what to do. We don't have to interfere. It is very quick. He'll jump on, he will do his thing, and he will fall off like a sack of potatoes. Okay? Ask the grade 7s. It is really funny to watch. We will let them fall off twice, so we know that they are successfully mated and bred. Okay? Then we take the female out and put her back in her own cage. So, kids. Kids are the baby rabbits. That's what a baby rabbit is called. Okay? So, after 28 days from her being mated, we will put in a nesting box. After a month, she will give birth to her litter of kids. That is what a group of the baby rabbits are called. Okay. You can see pretty much how small they are. They fit in your hand. They are naked and they are blind when they are born. So they need their mom's fur and their mom's nest that she made to keep them warm and protected. You can ask at the end. Okay. So, if we have dead rabbits, that means we don't get any money. So we must make sure that we take away any material, any dead babies, any waste material from the nesting box, so it doesn't harm the other babies or kids. Good. We must check if they are alive and healthy. Oops. If they are alive and healthy. Over here, we will see their stomach. Their stomach must look like this. Must look nice, big and fat. That means it's had a lot of milk to drink. Okay. So, after they are born, about a week or two, they start to get hair. They start to open their eyes. Then they start to move around at 2-3 weeks and start to try little foods. We have to check them regularly. Every single time we check them, we must make sure their stomachs are fed and they are happy and they have no injuries or diseases. This is the time when they start to move and jump around. We should start handling them. So we can be more confident when we're working with the rabbits and they can know us and trust us more. So, Rosina, you asked me about weaning this morning. What is a weaner? What's weaning? This is when it comes off the mom's milk and starts to eat solid food only. No more milk. Okay. We then, after another 2 weeks, we will still let them be with their mom so they can learn from their mother. After these 2 weeks, we will take them, use their reproductive organs again to sex them. Bucks and does. What's a buck?
Teacher, a male rabbit.
A buck. Male rabbit. What's a doe?
A female rabbit.
Okay, good. So, and then we'll put them in their own cages called a run. We will then give them food constant food until they are 3 months old or when they get to slaughter weight. Okay, so then there's things called diseases. We have to know about diseases just like we know about COVID and what symptoms they have. We need to know about the diseases that will affect rabbits. So, there's the first one, coccidiosis. You will see that it will be hunched over, the belly will be swollen, and it will have diarrhea. Okay, we must always look out for these. We've got bloat. Stomach is full of gas, it doesn't want to eat, it doesn't want to move, so it's got a swollen stomach. Enteritis, the intestine is swollen. It will not move at all, not even if you touch it. An abscess, that's a lump under the skin that has pus or infection in it. Snuffles or pastorella, this is rabbit flu. You'll see it just like the snot comes out of our noses, the mucus will come out of theirs. Malocclusion. This is when the teeth are overgrown. The teeth do not meet. They cannot eat if the teeth don't meet. So this would be a dead rabbit in a day. It's not good if the teeth don't meet. Ear canker. This is a brown crust just like our earwax, but it's caused by mice, little bugs on the body. Sore hocks. These are sores on the feet, and it won't allow the animal to move. Runny eyes. Just like rabbit flu, there's some mucus coming out of the eyes. And stress and heat stroke. We know rabbits don't do well with heat, and if we frighten them, they can jump weirdly and hurt their spine, and then they are paralyzed. So, these are you're going to look out for these. We're going to have another presentation just on the diseases, because we have to go in depth with them. So, record keeping. No matter what happens in your rabbitry, no matter how small it is that you think it is, always record it. If it sneezed, record it. If it jumped weirdly, record it. If you tripped over a rabbit's cage that's empty, record it. Everything. You will then get one of these on the rabbit cage. It has everything, it has a name, everything that we need to record is there. It is visible for everybody, and it is accessible. So you can immediately be by the rabbit and writing the information that needs to happen. We also need to make sure that we take some backups, some records, because what happens if we all of a sudden have a fire in that room and all of our records are gone? So we must take copies or records of every single thing that happens in our rabbitry. And that's the end of the rabbit. Okay, any questions?
Teacher, I wanted to ask a question, but now I forgot.
No problem. You can ask me when we're doing the practicals, okay?
Yes.
I'll be showing all of this to you while we are busy with the practicals when we are handling the rabbits by itself. Anyone else? Who likes rabbit meat? Who has never tried rabbit meat? Who wants to try rabbit meat? Again? Okay. Thank you for listening to me, guys. Okay. Kabul, you can press the button.